Are you hungry?
Give me something good.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Görgött. Today we're making something kind of Japanese inspired. We're grilling mackerel and we're serving that with a kind of tomato dashi. And there's not that much ingredients on the board today, but before we have a look at what we have on the board and how we made what we have on the board, do me the favor, hit that subscribe button, check the little bell icon so that you get notifications when new episodes are online, which by the way is every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central European time. But now let's have a look at these two bowls, because that's basically what we need. Our first bowl here is a tomato dashi. It's more of a dashi with kind of dried tomatoes, but home dried. And let's have a look at how we did that.
First thing we have to do is we have to peel our tomatoes. And if you watched the channel before, you know that the easiest way is to put a cross at the base and the top. And then we have some water in there. We're going to blanch them quickly and cool them down, and then you can peel them easily. So the first step is to put the crosses in, both at the bottom and at the top. So do that to all your tomatoes. At the same time, get your water hot, and then we'll blanch them. So we've made the crosses on all our tomatoes. Now I'm going to do the green ones first, because they will take a bit longer. The water is hot. I'm not going to show you, but you just leave it in until you see that the peel is started to come off. Then you take it out, and then you cool it down as quickly as possible, because you don't want to cook the tomatoes yet. So get that done, and then we'll look how easy it is to peel them. As you can see, the green ones already peeled, and the red ones are in cold water. And either you can just do it with your hands, like that, or you take a knife, and the back side of the knife is quite easy as well. You just need to find something to grab hold of. And then it comes off easily. So peel all of your tomatoes, and at the same time put your oven at 110 degrees Celsius, because they're going in there afterwards. So oven on, finish peeling, and then we'll see what we do with them. So let's move around a bit here. Get a small baking tray out, or whatever baking tray that fits the amount of tomatoes you have. And now we're just going to split these in half. Put them, I would say skin side down, but there's no skin on them anymore, but the outside down. And do the same with your cherry tomatoes. Just down the middle. And skin side down. I will get going with this, but do all of your tomatoes, fill it up. And then by then, hopefully your oven will be hot enough. And then we'll put it in there for about 6 hours. I'll see in a bit. So our tomatoes just fit. I've added some olive oil so that they don't stick too much. Our oven is preheated. We'll put it in now for about 6 hours, but we'll keep an eye on it to see. And then we'll take it from there. So see in a second, but it will be about 6 hours. 1, 2, 3 ingredients for a very simple but very well umami flavored dashi. Now, tomatoes are in there, and in the meantime, we can make a dashi. So we have 20 grams of kombu seaweed. We'll put that in 1 liter of water, and we have 40 grams of Katsuobushi, basically the Bonito flakes. So we just let these get soft, probably 10 minutes, and then we're going to bring it to a boil on the stove. And then we're going to take it off the stove, put in the Bonito flakes, the Katsuobushi, and let them soak for probably another 10 minutes or so. I'll see you in about the time it takes for these to get soft. As you can see, beautifully soft. It soaked up the water. Now this goes on the stove. Bring it up to simmer. You don't really have to skim, because we're going to pass it through a straining cloth anyways. But once that's been brought to a simmer, we'll take it here, put in the Katsuobushi, and then we'll let that soak in. So see you in a couple of minutes. So it's come to simmer. Now we can take our Kombu out. And we add our Katsuobushi. Now we'll let this set. I kind of like to, I would say about 10 minutes. But taste it and see what you prefer. But 10 minutes is a good one for me. So I'll see you in a bit. So our dashi has reached the ideal flavor for my taste, at least for the start of what we're going to do with this today. Now we need to strain it. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to reduce it and we're going to add a bit of salt. But depending on what you want to make with your dashi, you can use it as it is now. That's like the classical, very pure and yeah, mellow dashi. Has a lot of umami, but it's not punching you in the face with it. But today we want a bit of punch in your face. So we're going to reduce it, add some salt, and then obviously once the tomatoes are done, we're going to add them to the mix as well. Now I just put the dashi back in the pot we had earlier. Add 2 good pinches of salt. And then back on the stove it goes. And I think we want to reduce this now to about, we'll reduce 1/3 so that 2/3 left. To just get that boiling, reducing, and then we'll see what we have. Dashi is nicely reduced. Quick taste. Perfect. Packs a real punch. Now we're just going to let this cool. And we'll still have to wait for the tomatoes anyways, so I'll see you in a bit. A wonderful dashi and our tomatoes. They were in a bit too long. So most of them we can save. This is going to be perfectly caramelized, but you see these ones, not going to use. So I'll put the ones that I want to save into the dashi. And that's our dashi tomatoes. Yeah, they could have done with an hour less, but hey, these things happen when other things happen that are more important than cooking. So I had to go take care of something, came back, and they were a bit too far gone, but I could still use about half of them. In the other bowl, we have our mackerel, really fresh, arrived today. Let's see how we took it apart and made the brine. Now this is what a mackerel should look like. Beautiful. And it's fresh from Sweden, from my good friend Jocke, who you might have seen in a previous episode where we were at the Gothenburg fish auction. So he brought this today. So we have as fresh of a mackerel as you can get in Switzerland. We had really local tomatoes from a farm just in the next village. And now we're going to fillet the mackerel. And this have not been taken out yet. So we'll go from underneath. You see that here? That's where you go in with your knife. And then you cut up the stomach. And then everything in there you need to throw away. So I will do that quickly. And this is what it looks like afterwards. Clean inside. Now we're going to take the head off. You don't need to actually. Well, we could keep it on. We'll just cut down here. And then we follow the spine. Put the knife towards the bones and let it kind of follow the bones. There we have the first fillet. Now we need to clean that up a bit. Let's get the second one going as well. So behind the fin, you can either cut straight or cut slanted. And then on the next side, I hope you can see it. It's a bit difficult to show you. And again, we just follow the backbone. Now we just need to clean this up. Basically, I hope you can see it, but there's still some on the belly here, there's still some bones. I'll take them. Like so. And now you have bones going all the way in the middle here. And the easiest to get them out is just to cut down next to them in like a V shape. And you will feel them against the knife. And then carefully get them out of there. Yeah, it's a bit fiddly. Especially with big hands, but this is what we want out. There's a little bit left on the top here. There we have it. Now let's rinse this one quickly. That's a beautiful fillet. That's what you're looking for. Now what we're going to do is, the mackerel has a really thin layer of skin on top. So we'll try to get a hold of that. I will actually remove that. It's like, you can think of it, if you know, like baby back ribs or ribs, they have a little piece of, I don't know what you call it, connecting tissue that you ideally remove, because when you leave it there, it kind of pulls together when you fry. So we have it here now. Just have to be a little bit careful when you pull it off, because you don't want all the skin to come with it. And there you go. I don't know, maybe if you dry, you can make handbags out of it, like crocodile skin. And now the fillet is ready for brining, and we'll do it in a normal brine. So we have a 10% brine here. If you want to see how I do that, I'll put a link here to an episode where we brined some fish before. Let's now portion this. I think we'll just split it in half. Then we put it into the brine. Same with this one. Now we'll leave it to brine for about 30 minutes, not much longer than that. I'll see you afterwards. Well, I won't, because now we're going back to look at the board, and then I'll tell you what we do. So those are the two things you need. And for this part, you can do it quite well in advance. You could do it even the day before and just keep it in the fridge.
Now this needs to be as fresh as possible. So this is almost ready to go on the grill. So let's get on with that.
Let's get the fish out. It's brined for about half an hour. It's amazing, you can really tell how much firmer it got in the brine. Just put it on some kitchen paper. And we're gonna dry that off. Just some more kitchen paper. And pat this as dry as you can. Now we're going to spit them up. That's basically so that they don't curve. I have to think, it doesn't really matter which way you do it. Two should be enough.
Now we just have to wait for the grill to get hot enough, and then we can put them on there, get them nicely grilled, and then we're ready to plate up. I'll see you in a bit when the grill is ready.
The grill is hot. Move this out of the way a bit. Put this more in the center. So it's hotter on this side. Here is a bit cooler. So we'll start here. We'll do tail beats as well.
So we'll start with those two, because I might serve both. Let's see. We'll start with those two. As you can see, it's quite smoky. Mackerel is quite a fatty fish, and that is dripping a bit on the coal. But I have that on full, all the windows are open, so it's okay to grill inside.
Turn this one.
Can actually take these out because they're not really helping. That's definitely the hotter side. So once this is done, we're going to move kind of over. I love this small grill because it makes filming easier, but obviously it goes quicker on a large grill. No grill, it was too smoky, I took it outside. But it will be done in a second, and then I'll show you. So we have our grilled mackerel. I hope you can see me through the smoke. We're gonna place that in the middle. I decided to go for the 2 pieces in one serving. Try this one. Perfect. Nice and juicy. Now we'll take our lukewarm dashi. Now before we finish this off, if you stuck with me this far, there must have been something you enjoyed about this episode. So do me the huge favor, hit the thumbs up button. It's just down there. It's not difficult, just one click, and it's like that. And that really helps me to get my content out to a wider audience that hopefully enjoys it as much as you do. But now, let's get this served.
So I'm just using a spoon because we don't want too much dashi. It's not a soup. Put some of the... Basically what happens to the tomatoes is you dehydrate them and then rehydrate them in dashi. So that's kind of double umami. A couple of spoons of dashi as well. That also takes on a bit of the tomato flavor. And there we are. Our grilled mackerel with a tomato dashi. Now let's dig in. I'll get a spoon for the dashi. Get a tomato on there as well. Drop half of it. This is crazy. This is a proper umami bomb. And having the tomatoes in for that long, an hour probably too long, it really kind of caramelizes them. So when they rehydrate with dashi, not only do they taste the umami dashi flavor, but they also have a sweet touch to them, which is really nice. And I think mackerel it's really an underestimated fish. Fantastic. Especially if you can get it this fresh. Now it's a cheap, yeah, it's a cheap dish, but it will impress anyone at your dinner table. I'm gonna finish this, but I'll do that myself. But that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this. Pretty amazing dish. It's really a punch in the face with umami, which is what we like. Well, not a literal punch in the face, but really like, wow, umami. That's the feeling you get when you eat this. But I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see what comes up next. I think it might actually be Indian. For the first time on the channel, we might be cooking butter chicken. So stay tuned for that next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.